Hey everyone, this is Charlotte. I just wanted to warn people that on today's episode we will talk briefly about guns and gun control and yeah, enjoy. Welcome to the Transgeneral Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Charlotte. We also have
the other one of your hosts, Chelsea, and one of your co-hosts. Who do we have this week?
Who could it be? Have you been counting? It could be very confusing because we did release the last episode.
Well, it's Kate. You don't have to think.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
The mic is like directly off.
Fuck, would you... Is that better?
That's good. That's fine.
I forget how microphones work.
Oh yeah, it's a problem. Yeah, we've had 2 weeks off. This is well, we're back. I had to give everyone the last episode. I actually cut 40 minutes from the last episode. That's more I've never cut that much from an episode.
You were cut happy, just like
it's
not that good. It's gonna go.
It's gotta go. Well, we got to a certain point in the podcast, and then like Haley came in, and then the podcast was mostly us just chatting to Haley while the mics happened to be on. So that went. So the outro was pretty much just music playing over the top of you.
You're cutting like prices at a discount rug shop.
Down, the prices are down.
The podcast is down.
So today we should probably have a look at the emails that we received after not the last episode. Episode was.
I haven't done that. This will be a new surprise for me.
Do I have my
just
mailbox
to show how
filter
prepared I am as a host?
God damn it! I don't have the mailbox filter anymore. Form submission. I also have a new laptop. I should tell people, like, I've got a new laptop. It's not as fast as the old one, which I was just reminded because I typed form submission, and I typed the whole thing, and then it caught up with me.
I love when that happens. It's like you're in the future.
It's like you are the fast one,
yeah.
Not the computer. So we've got something from Cyan, and that is actually it. So we'll go with that. Cyan also played the PS1 Spider-Man game as a kid.
Yes.
I know, right?
Is that the extent of the email?
The which one?
Is that the extent of the email?
That's no. There's more.
Okay, all right.
Cyan likes side ponytails.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry to berate side pony. Actually, it wasn't me. It wasn't me making fun of the side pony.
Was it me?
I don't. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Whoever it was, we were all wrong.
Whoever it was Charlotte. No, I don't actually remember. I don't think I have anything against them. But then again, it's been 3 weeks. Everything's changed.
Yeah. Things change. Fashion changes. Like maybe it's the hot thing now, and we
could be.
Got to get on top of that.
And you know what else would be hot right now? Bootleg jeans.
Ugh.
You know what? Do it.
I'm wearing them. I'm wearing them.
I was defending bootleg jeans once, I think.
One time.
One time, but never again.
It was one long period. It was a sustained defense of. It wasn't like, no, they're okay. Move on. No, it was. They're all right. People have a right to wear what they want, and bootleg jeans, so be it. That's one of them.
Yeah, on that level. Like on the civil liberties level.
On the civil liberties level. Yeah, I suppose you should legally be allowed to wear bootleg jeans.
As a law student, do you feel people should legally be allowed?
I just can't imagine how much difficulty there would be in policing that. And what constitutes bootleg.
Jeans that look like bootlegs but aren't bootlegs.
You could look into the policing of women wearing jeans in or anyone wearing jeans in North Korea. Not allowed. That's super American. Not allowed to do it.
What about blue chinos?
You gonna try it? Who's gonna test it? Who's gonna find out?
Yeah, where do you draw the line? It's just trouser pants. Just
velvet pants?
Suit trousers. Velour?
Yeah,
probably fine. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know much about North Korea. I don't want to mock their cultural practices, as heinous as their government might be.
Yeah, it's a bad government, gotta say. List of bad governments that's up there. Yeah. We start everything on such sad notes.
Yeah, we're already talking about North Korea. We went from bootleg jeans to North Korea. How did we do this? I don't know. I'm impressed and saddened.
Oh.
Emails, that was it, right?
That was it. That's
jeez.
I know, right?
Is that the whole email?
What?
They were like, I played Spider-Man.
I just played
also
Spider-Man
Side
1 as a
Ponytails.
kid, and I have fond memories of playing it, and you all should totally play it when you do your Let's Plays.
Okay.
And side ponies.
And side ponytails, I like them. Also, my hair is too short and curly to do much with it too, and it's like a sad smiley.
Oh no.
It's not a
Sad
smiley.
smiley.
The opposite of
A
a frowny.
frowny?
A saddie.
I'm the only one here with hair long enough to do a side pony.
I'll catch up.
Should I put my hair into a side pony, like
Yes.
live,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
live on the cast?
Yep.
It's
Yep.
not going to be very. You're going to have
Yep.
to keep talking. Like you two are going to have to.
That's okay.
Vamp.
I have side pony thoughts.
Okay.
All right.
I
Tell
can-
us.
Okay, please vamp for me. I'm going to go get an elastic band and I'm going to make this happen.
Oh my god. Trans general first.
Like literally, keep vamping or I'll just have to edit it all out.
Oh yeah,
Like-
right.
I feel like I'm not personally comfortable with any kind of ponytail that isn't like a super basic, like just down the back of your head. I feel like retrospectively, looking at my childhood, I had like hair dysphoria
Hairphoria.
or something like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or just like because I had such long hair but would never do anything with it.
Mm. Yeah, I remember like you had such anxiety towards getting your hair cut because you had super long hair when I met you, and then I was like, get it cut to your shoulders because I like hair that's cut to shoulders. And you were like, oh, I don't know, it's all so stressful. And then you did, and you were like, I love it. This is great. And then you
I
got
just
cut
kept
it
cutting it
Yeah.
again and
and then
again.
you got it cut that short.
No, it was a little bit longer. It was kind of like it came. Oh, like right now it's like totally shaved at the back,
Mm.
but it kind of had length at the back and kind of touched my ears
It's
a
like a
little bit.
little mullet.
Not like a
bit.
little mullet, like something a 1930s flapper might have, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like a bob? Is that what we're talking
like
about?
a very, very, very short
Yeah.
bob kind of thing.
I know the look.
Yeah.
Alright, so I got a brush. I don't know, is my hair quite long enough? Do I do it over
Probably.
the top? Is that how I do it?
I think we go like this part goes over the top and then the rest comes around.
We should tell people that we have a topic today. That's
No, the topic today is side ponies.
wait, no, the topic is not side ponies. The topic today is gatekeeping.
No one can tell me if I can have a side pony or not.
Exactly. If you walk into a psychiatrist appointment and they're like, why don't you have your side pony? I see you're not serious about hormones.
So, okay, do you want to like maybe explain quickly what gatekeeping is to those of our beautiful
Yeah.
listeners who may not have heard our previous mentions of it or kind of know?
Well, gatekeeping is pretty much like the medical community thinking that they are the ones that should control our access to hormones because some arbitrary reason. Usually, like, they know what's better for us than we know what's good for ourselves. And the whole thing of just trying to remove agency that trans people can have over their bodies because it will hurt your reproductive capabilities. What if you want to have kids? And so forth.
I'm doing an awful job with my hair.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's
I'm
right.
amazed.
And it does, I feel, stem from like a history of medicine that's it's all falling out.
Looks
I'm not
really
very good at
cute.
this.
No, look, it kind of does look really good.
Yeah, history of the medical like institution in the West, like not acknowledging anyone's like it's like the cis man is the default, and that all other body types and pains and feelings and understandings of people's own body like are compared against this like default logical cis guy, and people's pain hasn't been taken seriously. Like if you have like diseases of like the uterus and like pain.
Like
Diseases and stuff like
endometriosis
that.
or-
Yeah, things like that. They're just not like, yeah, they've been treated so poorly. I feel like it does fit into that whole general history of medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, like minority groups don't get taken seriously is the...
Yeah.
But even for... I mean, shouldn't it then not apply to trans women who were like assigned male at birth? They go into the psychiatrist, and shouldn't they be taken seriously because the psychiatrist sees them as quote unquote male?
But then that's the easy excuse to not give treatment at all. I mean, there's also a long history of psychiatry and medical world treating like all LGBTQIAP plus people. Like they tried to treat homosexuality for forever, and there's still pockets that do. So it's a long-standing history tied to medical community.
It's pretty shit.
It's pretty shit, but I dare say things are getting better in some places, because I've heard stories about in the 90s, like trans women not being able to get any treatment if they weren't wearing a dress
Yeah.
and like super feminine wearing makeup and stuff
As
like
recently as like early 2000s, like tons of psychiatrists will still do that shit.
that. Yeah.
Like, I see you're not taking this seriously enough. Do you really need hormones? I don't think so.
Yeah, anecdotally, we have a mutual friend who on Facebook posted about how they went to see a doctor and they were like, oh, like you don't look like you
Yeah,
want to
you're trying.
transition.
You need to pump it up, put some makeup on.
Yeah.
I was at a psychiatrist appointment for someone that I know, and it's a psychiatrist in Sydney. So if anyone listening does not want to be gatekept, do not go to see Dr. Patrick Toohey. I recommend Dr. Matthew Davies. He's fantastic. He let me through with one session. Dr. Patrick Toohey will keep you for up to 6 sessions. Most of that will have nothing to do with trans stuff. He'll just want to like fix other things with your life and hold the letter over your head to make sure you keep coming back and paying $178 per visit, which obviously will, like, if you become one of the unfortunate people that has to go back there for 6 whole visits, if you don't have that kind of disposable income, you just don't get hormones. And it's really, really gross because the kind of thing, the WPATH International, like, do you know what it stands for, Kate?
No.
It's essentially the international trans body thing. And they decide, they pretty much make up the guidelines for how you diagnose a trans person. Like, is this really a trans person? Checklist, pretty much. And that can be done in one session of 1 hour.
Yeah, they also have a best practices thing with how to
Yeah.
treat trans people in other medical standards.
So, yeah, the deal with Dr. Toohey in particular is after one session, he'll just be like, yeah, I guess you can have hormones, but come back for this many sessions because I need you to, we need to talk about the rest of your life. Whereas Dr. Davies pretty much said, I can see that there's other things that you probably need to talk to a psychiatrist about, but here's the letter because I know this is very important. And also you pass the checklist. Like, that's the most important thing. I passed the checklist. Give me the damn letter. And it's also kind of like really gross and entrapment-y how people actually keep getting referred to Dr. Toohey is that he'll say that he does Medicare to other practices, and then when you get to the practice, he only does a single session for trans people. For people who are there for other reasons, he'll bulk bill all of them on Medicare, but for trans people, you get one session, and it's so...
Even still keeping with him apparently making you talk about every other aspect
Yep.
of your life.
So I have a counterpoint as
Okay.
a Dr. Toohey, but I think my personal circumstances played a part. So, I mean, I'm going to talk more broadly if you're seeing people, because I imagine this will be different all over the world in different cities and that sort of thing, but like maybe we can broaden this, that there maybe are a few different types of ways that psychiatrists will deal with it, and that may be one of them where,
Yeah.
you know, they want to do the groundwork or whatever for any number of reasons. Maybe it's money, maybe they truly believe it, I don't know. But for me, it was I'd seen a psychologist for 6 months about all my other stuff, as well as gender identity things beforehand, and he was happy with that. And I also fit this kind of notion where when he asked the questions, I answered truthfully, and it seemed to check off the checklist of the narrative he was expecting, and he was happy with my answers, and I just needed one. So I think that's another thing as well. Like, I don't feel like I completely conform to the stereotypes, but I must have enough to fulfill his criteria, whatever it was.
Wait, was it before the podcast we were talking about, like, you felt more pressured to be feminine earlier on?
That wasn't so much when I saw him, funnily enough.
Okay.
That was even just when I was going to, like, GPs and things early on. Whereas now I would just wear what I always wear.
Yeah, I just do that now.
Yeah.
But for a while, it was the same for me as
So I
well.
was worried, and you know, you read about other trans women in particular on the internet, and they really feel like they have to femme it up. And people like coach each other and are like, yeah, even if it's not true, say this.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily, like, that's not going to move anyone forward. But hey, if you need those, you know, like, I know how much a difference in my life HRT has made. If you need that treatment,
Yeah.
people are going to do it.
I have actually coached other trans women on, like, pretty much what to say in the interview. Like, if you feel that you're non-binary, leave it out. Like, really don't broach on a topic that takes you away from the narrative, because they might not be a good doctor. And you might put yourself three more sessions in just because they don't understand who you are. So I'm all for just like having agency, because even if we take into account that sometimes people have made the wrong choice, it is still their choice to make.
Yeah, so something...
Like a choice that they regret later, Kate.
Oh yeah, okay.
You look confused.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily the wrong choice at the time, just more like something that later they will say, I shouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah.
And like frequently those kinds of people then invoke, we need to lock it down even more. Well, not frequently actually. That is pretty much what the people that are against HRT want us to believe. I read a really interesting article about how there's about 20 detransition stories that get recycled and the people's names get changed. Yeah, like just shuffled around to make it seem like there's more people than there are, but they're clearly the same stories.
It's kind of like those chain emails that get circulated around forward. It's like from 1996, and your grandparents are still sending them to you because they think you'll get a chuckle. And you know what? Sometimes I do. And then you turn up on Reddit, and someone's like, fresh new OC.
Fuck.
No, it's not original content. Also, just as a quick aside to lighten the mood a little bit, I had to take my side pony out because I couldn't get my headphone back on. It's not the most practical of hairstyles.
Yep.
Yeah, you
But-
can't wear a hat with a side pony.
No, well.
Well.
A sideways hat with the side pony sticking out of the little thing.
Yes.
Holy
Or like
shit.
some other kind of like bowler hat shifted to the left. Like I feel like there's something very like late 80s about.
I shift all my hats.
Well, what
so
about
I could definitely do that.
the ponytails, like the pigtails, right? With like the black hat with the sunflower on it, right? That could be done. That was a thing that got done.
That's
What?
2 pigtails. That's not a side pony.
Yeah, it's too
That's
much
a
hair.
different
There's
hairstyle.
too much hair going on over that side. Look, I'm gonna rock it. I'm gonna make it work.
Side pony.
Yes, you've heard it here.
Speaking of all this hair, I'm actually trying to grow mine out, which is like terribly hard because it always looks so messy and like clownish.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cute at the moment, to be fair.
Oh, thanks.
But on a group or on someone online's like, I want my hair to grow faster. Like, is there any way to do that, or is that kind of all just like a myth? It's just like make sure it's healthy.
I'm seeing so many, so many trans women I know are just saying use biotin, which is like a kind of vitamin, and it's not clinically proven, but there's tons of anecdotal stuff
Yeah.
coming from them. So,
I always worry about things that particularly are targeted at trans women who may not be able to get on.
oh no,
hormones
no,
and things like that. It's
just
not like that. But as an
Yeah, I know
aside,
exactly
you
what
know
you
what I
mean,
mean?
yeah.
Like they kind of like profiteering off of people's like need to get something. It's like, oh, herbal supplements with phytoestrogens that probably actually do nothing, but
yeah.
you don't need a prescription for them.
Estrogen
sort of
extracted from lilies and
Lily's the most
Frogs.
feminine flower.
Pansies. Yeah. I mean, it is related, right? Because like gatekeeping makes people
yeah, that drives them to this kind of
and like going on hormones without prescriptions and not getting blood tests done and looking after that kind of side, because I think the negative effects medically are overstated. Every time there's a new study that comes out, it shows like it's not as like onerous health wise as we thought previously.
Yeah.
Because they've never been able to particularly like, it looks like they haven't been able to break apart the comorbidities like drug use and alcoholism and like other lifestyle factors
yeah.
that
Oh,
because of mental health issues and things.
I found out, like, I was talking to some other trans women online in the group, and like, so many of them were just like, yep, former alcoholic. I was like, wow, I guess that's kind of just a thing that we do then.
It seems to happen across the board.
Mm,
A lot of happens to trans men as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just meant I was talking in like a trans women channel. I'm sorry.
Let's not ignore our other trans friends that aren't trans women.
Look, I've got a photo of a trans man. I'm holding a photo with no one in it right now. Invisible.
That was awful.
I'm so sorry.
Plus, it's
That was
emotional-
like literally pointless.
I like that gag. I think
Wait, what?
I like that gag.
Oh, thanks.
I think it. Anyway.
It was sufficiently bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back on gatekeeping though, like I thought I had no personal experience with it
Mm-hmm.
because the process was pretty easy for me to get WPATH.
WPAT.
Yeah,
You can like WPATH?
yeah.
Whoop-path.
WPATH. WPATH.
warpath.
Oh my god.
That's how I kind of read it. Yeah.
But like, no, I definitely like. I went into it changing, like streamlining my narrative and making it as binary as possible. And yeah, like also, I feel like the psych was probably more happy to hear that I had been to other psychs, like throughout my whole life. Just maybe, I don't know, maybe she felt like she had less of a burden of responsibility. It still did take me like three goes though. And like they are expensive.
Yeah, it is. And I was lucky that at the time I was working full time and the financial burdens on me weren't very big at all. Like I could afford to do it and I was happy to do it. But it is something that bothers me that there's so many of these things that aren't covered by Medicare. And it's life-saving so often. Another thing though, I've heard some really quite good stories from acquaintances and friends and things like that about like non-binary transition stuff now, where people are on like low dose hormones and things like that. Seems to be
Like enough to stave off osteoporosis, right?
yeah, like
Or like introduce like gradual or slight changes.
yeah,
Without like
exactly.
Without
freaking
like
out.
stretch marks.
Yeah, because like I mean, and it just seems to do wonders for people's quality of life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's there is some progress happening there somewhere. I'm not sure of their stories entirely, and I'd love to get someone on the show sometime, I think, who's done that sort of thing. If you've got experience with that, send us an email.
Yeah, shoot
as
us
well.
an email.
Yeah.
We've yet to like, we are looking for people with certain experiences that we can interview on the show because we've yet to really do that.
Yeah. I think it's just because of our current setup, we kind of need people to be local enough to actually get here to do it, or for us to get to you.
But we can go through Skype. I've got more and more experience with recording people through Skype. I've found like sort of the way around the audio quality issue is get everyone to record their thing locally and then send them all through. And because I'm now also a co-host on the Retro Speculative podcast, which is like I don't know if it is a diversity in tech podcast but now that I'm the co-host, it is a diversity in tech podcast.
I don't know if it's supposed to be, but it is.
It is. It's what's happened. Yeah, so I was on an episode as the co-host for the first time. I interviewed a guest with the host Carl, and the guest is actually a fan of this show as well. So
Woo!
amazing.
I know, and they said that they were honored, and I was like, I'm not a celebrity, chill.
I was at a party.
I just make a trans podcast.
I was at a party, and someone, oh, you're Chelsea from Transgeneral.
Oh, that's awesome.
We listened to your show. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the first time this has happened.
That happened to me as well.
Yeah?
It's happened about other stuff as well, but no, it specifically happened about this.
I clearly don't go to enough parties. This has never happened to me. Oh yeah, you said something about war earlier, and it reminded me of a thought I had today.
Was it about Warcraft?
It was like,
Sorry, I've had that on mind.
No,
Continue.
you said like something in the show like 2 minutes ago, and it had war in front of it, and it just reminded me of a thought earlier today. It's not important what was said by you.
Warpath. It was Warpath.
I said Warpath, yeah.
I was just thinking like if I ever have some kind of company, like some kind of programming company, of course I'm going to hire all trans people. That's like, and I'll find a way to hide it so it doesn't look like discrimination.
Diversity, Charlotte, diversity. You need some token cis people.
Oh, it's true. I'll have one. Gary. I'm going to have something called the War Room, and there will be a sign in the War Room that says no fighting in here.
What's that from?
That's from Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah.
It's such a roundabout story. Like, I'm going to have a tech company, and everyone's going to be trans, and then Dr.
here's the
Strangelove
joke.
reference.
No, well, like, you see, many companies just take a meeting room and they go, this is now the War Room because we have to triage something. And so I would have a dedicated War Room just so I can have that plaque hanging.
And then a dedicated fighting room.
Yeah, that's what I would like.
A dedicated...
People get heated, and you just send them into the fight room.
like a dojo? Or
No, it's
like...
the fight room.
Okay, so it's like an underground basement, people just like bare knuckle fists, like boxing.
No, it's just the office next to the meeting office. And you just send them in there in their suits and whatever their business clothes are, and they start arguing.
Oh, I thought it was like Fight Club. Okay.
No, this is business fighting.
Okay, sorry.
Business Fight Club.
But I was just imagining, like, it's just like one of those offices with two walls and like a glass pane for the door wall, and then you just like someone's sitting in there working, and you send two people in there to start punching each other.
Just so you can watch.
Sorry, I derailed everything. What was?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I feel like we churned through that topic pretty fast. Like, surely there's more to be said on this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I didn't really outline the whole it's just I find it so gross that Dr. Tui has told people that he does Medicare and then does one session for trans people and only for trans people.
And then kind of like holds it over you.
Yeah.
Well, I only needed the one.
You're lucky.
So yeah, lucky me. I mean, both you and I are no longer. Well, no, sorry.
No longer trans.
No. We're no longer trans. That's it. The
As of
podcast's
now.
over.
You're the host.
Kate, you're on your own. We are no longer with the doctors we were with.
Yeah.
Or the doctor. Anyway, we were with initially and with GPs for our treatment and stuff like that. And I feel like it's one of those things where that was a great place to start because we got the right, like, connections and things like. Because I had no idea where to go. I had no trans friends until I came out. Really, like, well, maybe one or two, but like not close enough to talk about this sort of stuff. And, you know, like all those organizations and things like the Gender Center and stuff are good at pointing you in the right direction, knowing what's available. It's still a good place to start. But
I'm actually trying to contact the Gender Center to like find out if they have any doctors on record that will do orchidectomies for trans women.
surely there must be.
I hope they have someone on record. Like, surely there are some, but like whether the Gender Center knows about them is going to be such a... Yeah, I really hope. Like, the person that would know is on holidays, which sucks.
You'd hope they would have more than one person that would know that information, but...
Well, like, it wasn't in the system under, like, what they tried to search for.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just tick.
Testic. Anyway.
Flower. Deflower.
Orange juice.
Orky.
Yeah, you have to listen to the last episode, or the one
14,
before
I believe.
that one, not
Yep.
the secret unlockable episode. Hey, congratulations, everyone! You unlocked the secret episode last
Wow.
week. How did you do that?
Ping.
How was it?
Xbox achievement.
Did someone put the Konami code in to our Twitter account?
I know how they did that. We didn't record for 2 weeks.
No. It was the fans unlocked it with their adulation and praise. Thank you.
Yeah. We're actually
you, fans.
we've actually dipped below 600 followers for the first time in a while. Not followers, weekly check-ins, which makes me go, oh no. Recommend to your friends.
We have to be funnier.
We have to be funnier.
We
We've
have
got
to
to be
entertaining.
got to step it up.
I've actually started telling people, moving from saying we're an infotainment podcast to a comedy infotainment podcast. And maybe eventually I'm just going to say we're a comedy podcast because don't take anything we say too seriously.
Yeah. Like, unless we say, here's a thing, unless we just go, seriously though, like...
We have to start with seriously though, or it's a joke.
Seriously though. I can't do a deeper voice than my deep voice. What the fuck? Why is my voice so deep?
Your voice can't go below your range?
My voice,
Really?
My voice is at the bottom of the range.
Are you sure? Well, I mean, you're probably sure.
I think. Oh.
Deep voices.
Deep. Oh, there we go. Holy
that was
shit!
pretty deep.
Deep voices. There we. What a revelation! Thank you, everyone. This has been a great podcast. Goodbye.
Podcast. You've been listening to Deep Voice Podcast. How deep does your voice go?
Talking to your phone right now. Find out.
Your phone.
Call in.
Record it and send it through our form, which you can't do. You can't
You
actually
can't do that. All right. Send it to transgeneralpodcast@gmail.com.
Put it at Transgeneral on Twitter. Can you
At
put a video
Transgeneral.
on Twitter?
I don't know.
Make a Vine.
I think so.
We don't have a Vine account.
Does anybody use Vine these days?
No.
I don't know.
I think
I'm
Damn
not
Daniel
really
killed
down
Vine.
with the
That's
kids.
what
I don't
think.
even have Snapchat.
I'm thinking about Damn Daniel. Why'd you do that?
Snapchat's hard
Snapchat is hard.
when you get over a certain age.
I just haven't kept up with the snapping.
And the
Only 2
chatting.
people ever snap me these days.
I'll snap you. You got it.
Is that what Snapchat is? Is that all it is?
It's
Doing
winking.
the winky and the pointy and the eyebrow and the winky.
Snapchat. Like, you talk to them for a bit, and then you give them a snap, which is like your finger and the eye wink.
That's
Yeah.
what's
It's just you
lame.
record the sound of you going, and then you send it to them, and it's a snap.
And they reply with, "Wow, that was real good."
In Australia, Kate,
Except-
we call them clicks. That's a click, not a snap.
Oh, isn't
Americans, for you, that's a snap.
Mine sounds like a thud. So.
Thuds for Kate.
it?
That's my fingers hitting each other. Oof, oof. Because that's how deep and tough I am.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Chelsea wasn't lying. I saw it all. It was Believable.
I have big tough hands because I'm a big tough gal.
I've got little sausage fingers. Anyway.
The Describe Your Hands podcast.
Go.
My fingers look like sticks. Like they've fallen off a winter tree.
It's very poetic.
You've done
I
best at
don't know.
this.
Mine look like fingers. Mine look like sticks that have fallen off a winter tree.
Welcome back to the Scene podcast. I'm not sure.
Did you say scene?
Yes.
Like
Like scene.
like
Like
fake
scene
emos?
kids. Like fake emos. Welcome back to the fake emo podcast.
The only thing worse than an emo was a fake emo. And you know what? I'm going to offend so many of you out there because there's like a real overlap with emos and trans people.
Yeah, it's true.
What's with that?
Wait, were you actually being serious about, like, I have no problem with anyone having any subcultures.
Yeah, sure. I have no problem with emos at all.
Chelsea, you're looking around the room.
No, I don't. I just like to pretend I do.
Yeah.
Because it's mildly comical.
In the bootleg way.
In the bootleg way,
I
right?
have no
Like you
real
have a
problem,
right to
but
be.
at the same time, like
Yeah.
Lol.
Look, I don't want to outlaw you.
Welcome back to the Deadwood podcast.
I see. I never watched Deadwood.
I've
was-
seen like 2
yeah.
episodes.
Okay. Do I want to add anything to our main topic?
Well, I guess we can veer back to it.
I was going to make a joke about
Ah.
Ghostbusters
Do it.
and the Gatekeeper and the Keymaster thing.
You
And
haven't
you're
really
looking
put
at me
that
blankly.
together yet, have
is
you?
You
the ghost
haven't-
the ghost? Is
Have you
the
seen
ghost happening?
Ghostbusters? Do you know? Listeners, tell me. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm not the only one.
No.
Okay,
I
well-
saw it a very long time ago.
This has fallen flat.
Well,
Let's move on. But keep listening to the pod. I want this to stay because someone out there knows what I'm talking about.
Okay,
I'd be
cool.
like, yeah, that would have been a funny joke had you actually made it.
Yeah, but
properly.
that's the sticking point for me. You never got to the joke.
yeah.
Oh.
You just outlined the concept.
Yeah, you
and
know what?
expected us to do
the concept.
the work for
I haven't
it.
quite figured out how I want to make it work yet. I do know I was going to lead into the hashtag of keymasters, not gatekeepers, and like the concept that like trans people should be the keymasters of their destiny.
But like, correct me if I'm wrong. But wasn't the Keymaster a bad guy?
Yeah,
So like, why do we want that?
I don't
We're
know.
already bad people.
We're already
in
bad
media.
guys. I'm just saying.
But like, the hashtag Keymasters, not gatekeepers.
Yeah. What's the opposite of a gatekeeper? To me, it's a keymaster.
It's like a fence,
Like a bridge troll.
a flat fence that's fallen down. Nobody's keeping it. It's the opposite
Like an
of a
absence
Just
gatekeeper.
a
of a
regular
gate.
gate with no master. Just walk in.
A free gate.
Just one free gate. Free gates, not gatekeeping.
Oh God, would Ayn Rand be in favor of us getting HRT of our own will? She would. Oh
No,
God,
she wouldn't.
no.
She wouldn't.
She would.
'Cause I'm pretty sure she's a massive homophobe, among other things.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. Anyway, so we suggesting that trans people can just like walk into a pharmacy, not
I think like into a GP because it's the
anyway,
same as other prescription
but
meds.
just not talk to anyone and take it from a shelf
Oh right.
and leave without paying for it. Because I actually feel that way about all medication for what it's worth.
Yeah.
That would be nice. That would be a nice.
It's the thing
world.
that you need to live, and like it's not our fault that we need certain medications. So
Yeah.
it not being part of the social system is real shit.
That's what I was thinking about. Just money is a huge gatekeeper in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
these
that's
things
the
are
other
so
thing too.
expensive.
Like when I talk about my experience fitting in, it's because like I'm from middle class upbringing. Like I know concepts that the psychiatrist probably wants to hear. I know how to articulate those
Yeah.
in a way they probably are used to hearing, or
Mm-hmm.
like I know that my social standing and race, class, overeducatedness, all that sort of stuff comes in to why perhaps it was easier for me than it is. Like I can only imagine how much harder it is for a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? I've remembered another incident. Can I go into that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mentioned it a couple of podcasts ago, and I was like, no, I don't want to talk about bad stuff. But I went to New South Wales Services, which does all births, deaths, and marriages stuff, and also RMS, which is Roads Maritime. Used to be called the RTA. If you haven't caught up and you're in New South Wales, that's what it is. And basically, the guy at the desk was trying to tell me I was changing the name on my license. And I said, look, I also want to change. Like, I know it's not printed anywhere on the license anymore. I know that was changed. But I know that there's records of my gender. And I know that I can change that on the back end because, look, if the police pull me over or something, they can look at those and it'll say what my gender is. And he told me I couldn't without changing my birth certificate. I'm like, I know I can. I've looked into your policy. And he literally argued with me over it. And he called me sir after this conversation.
Oh,
like, how do you mess
fucking
this up?
No, you know how they messed that up.
Yeah, intentionally. Anyway, I ended up coming back and like having a go at him and like proving that I was right. I got my phone out. I got their policy and stuff up in front of him. But I feel like that's just another step. Like, medically, we have so much gatekeeping, but then inside government as well. I feel like every step you have to work so much harder than you should have to.
Well, I mean, we have to work much less hard than we used to, but it's just like individual gatekeeping is the problem. People aren't properly trained and like reprimanded.
And who knows if they have their own personal agendas.
Exactly, and this person seemed to. Like, if they call you sir after the whole thing, then clearly they have their own personal.
Yeah, and it's also like this thing. It's like, I know he was right. He said he's been doing this job for 10 years or whatever. I know he was right at one point, but I also know things have changed because the federal law and guidelines change, and that's impacted on the state ones a bit. It hasn't affected birth certificates yet, which is a huge disappointment. But it was just categorically wrong. Like, all I need to do is provide like a medical certificate saying that I'm undergoing treatment to transition to and live as a woman. That's what I need to supply. I brought those with me. It was a big ordeal. Why does their policy say they can do that and then make it an ordeal to do?
I think it's just because, like their policy says they'll do that because the government told them they have to. They're a government office, and all our government officers just have to take a letter from a doctor. But like the individual government officers probably have control over training, so they don't care.
The other interesting thing was, like, one point he's like, look, I have to call, like, I'm trying to get this done now. Like, he came around, so I guess like some kind of meets basic minimum requirements of a decent human being. But he was on the phone. He's like, I have to call medical because they need to call, like, to check in with the office to make sure it's legit. And I'm like, look, I have to go through. Do you know how much I have to go through to get this certificate saying I'm going through treatment? Like, do you know what the gatekeeping is on the medical end for me to get there before I can even bring something here? Like, you don't have to do this all over again. It's like people can't just change this willy-nilly. And I wish we could, but we can't. They shouldn't be worried about trying to police that.
They really shouldn't. And like, when Amari and I went to Commonwealth Bank to get his name changed, I also said, like, can you change the honorific to Mr.? And the person at the desk was just like, nope, sorry, birth certificate, can't do it. I'm like, no.
Wait, where was this?
This is the Commonwealth Bank.
No, they absolutely can do it.
Yeah, exactly. And Amari was like kind of embarrassed by me, but like I always stand up to authority figures. It's kind of my fatal flaw.
It's your shtick.
It's my shtick.
It's your bit. I'll always love that.
That the time that Dr. Owen, I think his name is, the other one that I had that Amari had a really bad experience with.
Right,
yeah. He was the worst. He was referring to trans men as gyna, like something.
But like the opposite, like flipped version of like.
I don't think it was flipped, but
or?
It was more like refusing to say trans men and just referring to them as having vaginas.
Whoa.
I know. It's so fucking...
What even is that? I've never encountered that.
I don't remember what the word was, but I was just like, that's a new word.
Vagina.
Fuck you.
It's a new word.
Because like people with vaginas and people with penises, they are not very useful classifiers outside of that.
Nothing.
You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know. You know what I'm getting at? They're not really like important groups, distinctions to be made.
Like socially.
But people love generalizations, so
yeah.
Fucking hell. What was it? Oh yeah, so yeah, she just went, no, sorry, on the birth certificate it says female, so not happening. And I was just like, no, I had mine changed at ANZ. They didn't make me show them a birth certificate.
Yeah.
Like, you can change this. And she was just like, no, pretty sure I can't. I'm like, no, go talk to your supervisor. Yeah. And she did. She came back 5 minutes later and went, yep, shouldn't it be a problem?
Yeah.
It really gets under my skin.
I had a good situation with Medicare though.
Yeah.
They were great.
Medicare was pretty good for me. I forgot to bring my Medicare card though, and I wasn't wise enough to say I lost it. So I had to go home and get it.
Knowledge is remembering your Medicare card.
Exactly.
Wisdom is knowing to say you lost it. Yeah, I think that's the only rant I wanted to make.
It was
It's
a
good
good
to
rant.
get that out there. I
Yeah,
haven't
just-
thought about it in a while. I kept it sort of bottled up.
Kind of want to talk more about Dr. Irwin. What a terrible... Ugh. Just like, and sort of coaching Amari that's like, oh yeah, if your dad takes years to come around, that's cool. Like, no, fuck you. Like,
Also, it's not really your place to say
No.
about social and family acceptance.
exactly. He's
Is
just
it?
like,
Like-
I did a psychology degree once. Like, what? When? You're like 70. Give me a break.
I hope it was post grad.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and like just from the standpoint of it's not cool for people to be upset at their kids for being who they are for years, and also from the standpoint of who are you to even just I'm too close to this. I'm angry.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's take a step back.
Take a step back. We'll go 1 degree back. Kate, you know Amari, but you're not his
How do
girlfriend.
you feel about this?
Well, like, I don't know. It's technically wrong, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe it was an okay thing of that person to do in that instance because,
Was it meant to be assurance?
yeah.
Like, even if it takes them a while, they will? Or was it more
No,
like,
it was more like it's
give
fine.
them time, it must be so hard for them?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was exactly like
Yeah,
that.
'cause
It was
there is
just
a
like
big
this is a
difference
hard
between
thing
the
to
two.
deal with. That
Yeah, it's really hard for them.
yeah, fucking.
Because I really hate that. Like, I acknowledge that if someone's being supportive of you as a trans person, something they might say is like, people are difficult sometimes and I support you, but they might not. And that's a,
That's
you know.
that's close to something Dr. Pell would say. That's like you said something reassuring, right? I caught half of it.
Yeah, like, my point was more like, yeah, like, society's not going to accept you. It's something you have to be prepared for.
Yeah,
I kind of liked that, but at the same time, like, because I had that mentioned to me a few times.
yeah.
But, like,
I think that's something
At
that Dr. Pell did say
I mean, obviously,
to me.
you know, like, when you're trans, you know.
Oh,
like, as if you don't know more than a cis person about that.
I
Just can't see a situation where someone trans would be like, this is gonna be fine. Like, I've never faced transphobia in my entire life.
Well, like, I don't know. My parents were both really kind of like, you know, classic open-minded people who liked, I don't know, fucking small L liberal ideals. But, like, so I thought I would be okay in coming out to them. And, like, because I thought that, I don't know, that unconditional parental love thing meant understanding as well. And it doesn't. And just because, like, I don't know, they're hip to 20th century values doesn't mean that they, like, go further than that.
They
And
got 16 years to catch up on, you know?
Yes,
At
I feel
least.
like, I don't know, it's kind of like a vaguely valid point. In that just because, I don't know, your parents or whatever love you, you need to be prepared for the fact that they're not going to be okay initially.
Oh no, it wasn't really from that standpoint. It was more like your parents aren't coming around, and they might not come around for years, and that's totally cool. They are not at fault at all, and that's ridiculous because bigotry is the fault of people who are refusing to change.
And coming from somebody in a position of power as that doctor was.
Yeah,
Like, that is inappropriate.
yeah. Luckily, I was there, being very loud, and he threatened to throw me out twice.
I grab you by your collar and whoop, like
Whoop.
a cartoon.
Yeah.
That's just how I imagine it in my head.
He's just
You
like,
like-
I'm the doctor here.
You land on your butt and then you have like the thing with like the canaries like
Oh yeah,
going
tweet,
around
tweet,
your
tweet,
head.
tweet, tweet.
Yeah.
That's all I imagine when throwing someone out. That's kind of how. Or like you're at a bar and you've had too much to drink and the bouncer like throws you into garbage bags and says, "Stay out." That's the
And
only.
there's like a comical cat.
clang, 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 lids everywhere, and you're like, "Oh."
I wonder how they do the Foley sound work for that. Do they tie lids to cats' feet?
I'm pretty sure then they can't put the "no animals were harmed" thing at the end of their film. if they do that.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good
So
point.
You want to get that tag if you've got animals in it.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Otherwise, it starts to raise questions.
Yeah. The whole thing of him being like, I'm the doctor here, I was really tempted to just antagonize him a bit more, just being like, that's not really the issue at point.
Did he really say the phrase, I'm the doctor here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
I'm just like, I'll come back with a PhD in computer science, fucker.
I'll fucking
I'm
get
the
it.
trans here.
I'll
I'm
come
the
back.
trans here. Yeah, like, the entirety of medical gatekeeping is cisplaining. And, oh, that's a term we haven't really...
Why aren't there more trans doctors?
I wonder.
Now I stop and think about that. It's like, oh, wait, yeah.
Oh, right.
I have to become a doctor now as well. Finish my law degree, go straight into medicine.
You'd be such a
Just
good doctor.
never practice, like never do the actual job.
No.
Just keep doing degrees. and
Professional
degrees.
student. I'm a lawyer. I'm a doctor. I'm an actor, singer / dancer.
I just imagine like some kind of sitcom like called Dr. Lawyer. I think that'd be great. And it's famous for its unisex bathrooms that have multiple stalls.
There's a doctor one and a bathroom, a doctor store and a lawyer store, and I go there and I'm looking between the two, and I'm like, which one do I use? And then they start implementing Dr. Lawyer bathrooms.
Oh my
Thank
god.
God. All bathrooms should be Dr. Lawyer bathrooms. Take that, North Carolina.
Yep. So cisplaining is a term that we...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may have heard of mansplaining and
Yes.
whitesplaining.
Or just explaining to a minority.
Or just explaining. It's probably the word you've heard before.
Telling a minority their shit from a position where you are not that minority.
Yeah, and it's like usually the person who has societal power over the other person,
Yeah.
but doesn't have the lived experience.
Yeah. Like, and the entire thing of everything you have to go through when you're doing medical gatekeeping stuff is coming from a perspective of, we don't get that you already get this, but we're going to tell you about it.
Yeah.
And it was really just exasperating. Every time I went to CPEL and she'd be like, oh yeah, this is, unfortunately society's not really going to get, yeah, I know, I'm already wearing, like, I came here in a dress this time and
Yeah.
I get it.
That's a funny perspective though. Like she's just read a book or some shit, being all like,
I think she
Did
might
you
be
know?
genuinely
the
caring.
society
Like,
doesn't get them. What?
Yeah.
I kind of do feel weird talking personally about like the doctors and stuff that I've had, because
Yeah.
generally, like I have said, my personal experiences are quite good, and I'm not in a position to want to necessarily shame the ones I've been with based on my
Oh
experiences.
no, I don't mean like,
Yeah, and that's all. I mean, that's all I can speak from, and
Yeah.
I'm always happy for other people's opinions to be voiced.
yeah.
But I always felt like it was coming from the right place, though, and that made me okay and happy
Yeah,
and
yeah.
comfortable.
I think Dr. Pell's much better than like most doctors that you'd see about trans stuff. But yeah, she like, it's coming from the right place, but it's always exasperating nonetheless, because it's still people telling you things you already know, and you have to sit through multiple sessions of it, and then you have to read a form of things you already looked up online because you're trans and you've known that you were trans for a while and you did that, and and then you have to wait 4 weeks to sign it. And that's the part that gets me the most.
Is it like the
actually.
cooling off period?
Yeah, the cooling
It's a
off.
bit like
It's-
gun ownership.
Or like if you buy something, you've got a 2-week cooling off period to return it.
I was
Like,
thinking,
oh, here, have these forms
thinking
back.
more like, okay, so you want a gun, come back in 4 weeks and you can get it.
Yeah.
So you want to start hormones.
This may damage those
like a
around
gun.
you.
Anyway.
We're Australians, so it's obvious that we're pro-gun control.
There's some Australians who aren't.
They are much more
I mean,
cultural
yeah, like they're a
minority.
total minority.
Yeah.
Because we never had an organisation as powerful as the NRA.
Yeah.
And we never had a Second Amendment. That's the Bear Arms one, right?
Yes.
Second, yeah. So it was a big cultural difference here.
Yeah. From a morbid curiosity standpoint, I'd like to see what kind, like how a revolution that people who hoard guns like fetishize and think about, like, just like, oh, I can't wait for the revolution where I get to use my guns.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how that would actually go.
What are you going to do with 7 guns?
like
probably just gonna,
7
like,
wielding.
Do something and then take your guns. Like, I don't know. I don't get it.
There
I
was
don't...
an amazing Cyanide and Happiness video where like someone hears someone break into the house and go, oh, and they go, oh boy, and they jump out of bed and they're like packing guns in and like, like they just like shove all the guns into it, like they're crawling out of the room. They've got so many guns on them. They get downstairs and they're just like, ah, damn it, they took the rest of my guns. That is all John guns.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
That's all we'll talk about guns.
Yeah.
Probably should have put a warning on guns at the moment, but
Warning guns, I'll put it at the start.
yeah, put a warning on guns, please.
Yeah.
God.
Can do. Did I mention that I'm out of a job?
No.
No, I'm out of a job. Whoa. That's part of why it took a while to record a new episode. I went for an interview at a place not too far from my house, and one of the people there had my dead name, and I was like, oh, I can't work here. It's a fairly uncommon name, so I was just kind of like, oh god, why does it have to? Why?
Why?
Why couldn't it have been like the grocery store clerk, the person that I can avoid? I can go to a different grocery store.
Why couldn't their name have been John?
What? Yeah, why?
So you now know by process of elimination, Charlotte's dead name is not John.
Damn it, Chelsea. That's like
I'm making it easier for them to guess.
Let's play the guessing game.
I'm
All
actually
right.
come around to my dead
Every
name.
name.
Really?
Yeah, like if I
actually
meet
don't
people
know
with
it.
it, I'm cool with it now, and it's taken a long time, but I am.
I always just hated the name. Even before I knew I was trans, I hated my name.
Even before it was given to me, even before I knew it was my own name,
That
it
reminds
was
me.
never your name. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. That reminds me that I really hate when people say birth name. Really, really detest it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like the implication is usually that's the one that you should have when they say birth name instead of given name. Or like,
I just want to throw something out there. I know people who change their kids' names in the first couple of weeks of being born. They change their mind. So do they have the birth name problem because they didn't put it on the birth certificate yet? Because I don't know how long you get, but you get some time. Like it's not like, as it's coming out, it's like hey, other partner, whoever, family member, whoever's here, you gotta have to fill out this form right as it's coming out.
Yeah.
As the baby's coming out.
The baby actually
we need to
comes
look at
out.
his genitals. You need to just get your eyes on those genitals ASAP. They've told you what
Here's
names you've got,
here's
depending
some
on what the genitals
binocs
are.
and here's some binoculars. Just like,
Yep.
like have a look. How's it look? Good on the form. Thank you.
Here's a beekeeper suit. I don't know why beekeeper. I'm just imagining some
Where's
kind
this
of,
going?
Like when they come in and get ET and take him
Oh
away.
my god.
like the hazmat suit. And then you go look at
yeah.
the baby's genitals, and before it's completely out, you've got to have a look and determine which name. Because it's a birth certificate. It's not 2 weeks after birth certificate.
So like the baby's coming out and they're just sort of like Paul, and then
No,
Paula. And then they're just like, wow, that's small penis, huh? Oh god, I've been reminded about how much I hate small dick jokes recently.
Yeah, they're really shit.
They're really
They're
shit.
really shit.
And they're so pervasive. It's just, yeah.
Did you know that my dad thought that I was a girl? Mistaken my junk for umbilical cord.
Huh.
I mean, he was right. The doctor was wrong.
Yeah. I was just about to, like, there's a small dick joke to be made here.
Potentially. Or maybe a big dick joke.
Or a big dick
If
joke.
you thought that was my umbilical cord, it's like, wow.
Whoa.
Whoa. Look at it go. Okay.
Jeez.
I'm talking way too much about my baby genitals right now.
But that's
I'm
exactly
sorry.
what TERFs want to know about. They're just like, tell me about
mean-
your junk when you were born.
Really, that's what gendering children is. Like, we've talked about this before, and I'm sure listeners can understand that really all you're doing is you're looking at the baby's genitals as it comes out, and you're choosing that to determine its everything,
Does it like blue or pink? Let's find out. Let's find out. Look at its genitals. Cool.
Cool.
We found out.
We got this.
We got this. It's all good now.
It's got those truck genitals. It's got those transformers.
Its genitals are transformers. They're more than meets the eye.
I think most genitals are that. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing of, do we want to talk about like how gendering children just sort of like, even if you raise children in an accepting household and you're just like, it's cool if you're trans, if you've already gendered them, they will still feel that pressure. Like they'll still.
We've touched on it before.
Yeah.
We have touched on it before, and there's a lot of difficulty in it because of this cis-sexist world we live in.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a place for another episode.
That's true. That's a good point.
I reckon some research on
Coercive gendering.
and also like people who are raising kids in completely gender-free environments insofar as they can.
I could ask some people. I know trans people that are raising kids.
Yeah, we can get their opinions on it. I reckon that would be an interesting topic. But next week, how are we feeling about doing a podcast on podcasting?
Yeah, we could do that.
I've also drunk review of The Matrix.
Yeah, like, is that next week though?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Well, if we have 2 days, we could do 2. Whoa. One of them with a hangover. No, other order, please.
Do one, drink, do the other one.
Yep.
You know what segment we haven't done in a while?
Word of the day.
Yeah, we haven't. And you know what? We kind of had one in there. We had cisplaining and we forgot to do our bit. Like, we don't have segments properly. Like, we've got to get in on that. Or like free-form segments. What do you like better? Listeners, email us. Tweet us.
Yeah, do you like freeform? Do you like segments? It's a good, yeah.
Put up
I
a
like
poll.
freeform. It's so messy.
There's Twitter polls, right?
Yes.
We've got like 30 followers. Let's see if one responds. I'll do it later.
Any final thoughts?
Fuck gatekeeping.
Kate, I felt like I talked over you maybe a couple of times.
I don't know. I mean, I did go to school with this one guy who like used a different name other than his birth name. Not for trans reasons.
And people are kind of more accepting of that.
Well, like, it was just a thing where everybody called him like his chosen name, but it was still his birth name on the roll. So like, people didn't question it consistently. People asked once and then we're just like, oh yeah, okay.
Just like, I don't like that name. But if you're trans, it's just like something else entirely.
I remember reading someone made a tweet. You might have seen it because I might have seen it through yours or something.
I love the tweets.
And it was like some cis boy wants to be called some nickname like Big D or something. I don't know. I don't know if this is the example. People are like, yeah, sure, I'm bored. I can call you that. It's a nickname. And it like trans woman says, hey, call me this. It's like, no. That's how it feels sometimes.
I did introduce you to a version of that where we were at a trans woman support group and I really picked my moment, and when the topic went on to Caitlyn Jenner, I pointed out how like Timbaland tweeted out his mommy named him, and I'm not even going to dead name. And then someone just replied with, "Did your mom fucking name you Timbaland?"
Yeah, so true. Sometimes the world's shit, but listeners, you know what you can do. Our catchphrase, it's don't be shit.
I was waiting for you to do it.
I don't think this is the right time to end the podcast though, because we still need to go over a few things. Where can they contact us?
They can find us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/transgeneral. They can find us on Twitter at transgeneral. They can find us
on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Bunch of letters.
It's a bunch of
Google
letters.
transgeneral on YouTube.
Transgeneral
You'll find
YouTube.
it.
All of our videos are up on YouTube. Well, sorry. Most of our podcasts are up on YouTube as like videos with just static images. So if you want to listen to them there, you can. They'll go up roughly the same time.
Chelsea doesn't know how to tumble, so we don't use a Tumblr yet.
We don't use a Tumblr. We get so much more traction on Tumblr. Trans people love that Tumblr. Looking at you, Kate.
My brain's going all like, I could run it.
Yeah, do it.
If you
no,
want to
but
run
I've been off Tumblr for a long time. And
but
I
you
don't
can
wanna
just
go
be on
back.
transgeneral Tumblr.
It's gonna.
Damn.
It's a slippery slope.
Damn.
Maybe Rowan is our hope.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm bad at the Tumblrs. I've been off it for a year.
Don't you have one?
I haven't been on in so long.
Oh, I haven't been on in so long.
Not a year, like 6
I
months.
feel like I was definitely following you.
So yeah, we're very likely doing our Let's Plays very soon, so get excited for that if you're a total nerd like I am.
Woo. We might, this week we might record the one with the Spider-Mans. The Spider-Man.
Just
That
the one
sounds-
Spider-Man.
Just the one. Yeah, it's true. It controls so poorly. I love it.
Sounds like so much fun though, but I
You should come over.
was not allowed to play video games, so I don't know how.
You can come, like, commentate.
You can partake in the devil's fruit now, my child.
Like we do need to keep it so that we're including all of our crew in the we need like the podcast cast. That's right. That's our little thing. The podcast cast needs to be all included in our Let's Play. So you should come do the Spider-Man one with us.
Cool. Spider-Man is my favorite.
Spider-Man is my favorite of all the mans.
I just really like that one GIF from like the TV show where like he shoots the web at the window and then punches the window.
Oh god.
Wait, no, punches the window and then opens it without even opening a latch on the other side or anything. It's the best. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Don't be shit.
Don't be shit.
Oh, yeah, you should not be shit.